It's time now for Perspective, and today we're taking a closer look at languages from our mother tongue to the ones that we might pick up at home, at school, or through our work or our travel. I'm joined here in the studio by Dr Nayr Ibrahim, who's an expert in trilingualism, triliteracy and identity. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us. First of all, the world has, of course, changed lots in recent decades. Many people pack their bags, move overseas like I did from the UK to come and live here in France. Just what impact is that having on languages and on language learning?
Well, I think people are obviously having to pick up the languages of the countries that they're moving to, and I think it's having a great impact on children, because children are actually being brought up very often with 2, 3 or even 4 languages. So there's a mother tongue, there's a father tongue, there's a language of the country they're living in, and very often there's English as well, as a sort of a lingua franca in the family. So children are being exposed to languages from much earlier on in their lives, and I think that's actually a very positive thing.
And many people that I come across that only speak one language say very often, I'm too old, I can't be bothered, or, it's too late to learn a second or a third language. Is it ever too late to pick up another language?
No. It is never too late to pick up another language. I think there's a lot of research that is coming out showing that, yes, it is always advantageous to start learning a language when you're young. However, anyone can learn a language at any time in their lives. I mean, I've just moved to Norway and I'm picking up Norwegian at the moment. So I don't think anybody should actually give up the opportunity of learning a language anytime they have an opportunity to do so.
Now, what about the English language? That's, of course, one of the most commonly spoken languages in the world. In the world of academia, I believe there's a term called the Anglo bubble. Is there a case that, is there a trend that, I speak English, therefore why would I need to learn another language?
Yes, I think there is that attitude, perhaps in certain countries, or however, English is. I think we need to understand that English is an important language. And I think it really should be a part of an individual's language repertoire, because it actually does open up doors today. However, I think it's important to understand that English isn't enough. If you can keep your mother tongue, you can keep your father tongue, you can develop the language of the country you're living in, you can add English to that repertoire. I think you can't stop there. You need to continue learning languages. You need to continue learning foreign languages. I think one of the worries is when people focus too much on English and then they even forget the parents don't even speak their own languages to their children. And I think that is a loss that we need to prevent by encouraging parents, for example, to speak their languages to their children. However, not focusing on English is also not necessarily a positive thing, because I think today there's a big need for English. That's today. I mean, maybe in the future that will change. But giving English, being part of that language repertoire does actually open doors. But don't stop there. I think the fact of learning more languages is actually quite a positive thing as well, because the more languages you learn, the more you have that success, you feel the success of learning languages, and you have the experience of learning languages. Therefore, it allows you to actually develop the possibility of learning even more languages, and you're not afraid to actually go out there and learn more languages.
But is the spread of the use of the English language and other big languages like Spanish, is that killing other languages and maybe regional dialects?
There is a threat of that, obviously. I mean, when you have one language that is all empowering and all encompassing, there is a threat that some languages are actually dying off. And then in certain cases, you lose quite a lot when a language dies. You lose the culture. The language itself contains words and concepts that perhaps another language doesn't contain, it doesn't exist in another language. So I think we need to be very careful about ensuring that we do also support the regional languages and smaller languages. I think the European Charter for Regional Languages is an excellent way of actually focusing on those minority languages.
What are the social or the economic benefits of being multilingual?
Oh, there are many benefits. I think there are personal benefits, first of all. There are cognitive benefits. I think the more languages you learn, the more flexible you become. And you're actually also, there are social benefits because you're actually open to more languages, you're open to different cultures. You're also open to understanding the diversity that actually exists in the world in terms of linguistic diversity and cultural diversity. So I really think that children should start all should all have, it should all be brought up with more than one language.
But are there downsides to being bilingual, trilingual in terms of identity? Or, we have colleagues here that I think, speak both French and English very, very well, but they don't speak French and English at the same level as a native French or an English speaker. Is there a downside to being bilingual?
Well, I'm not quite sure I would call that a downside. I think there is this need, if you look at multilingualism from a monolingual mindset, then you're going to look at that as a negative aspect of bilingualism or multilingualism, because you can't, some people speak 3, 4, 5, 10, or they know 10 languages, but they don't have to know those 10 languages to the same level. It depends on the need. So, but the benefits of the fact that you're you're much more open to different cultures, and you have more access to different cultures as well. So I think there are many benefits. Some of the negative aspects are perhaps, yes, sometimes you can't actually find that word. What is that word in my language? Your own mother tongue sometimes. So retrieving vocabulary for your different languages can be complicated sometimes. Perhaps that's one of the disadvantages. But I think there are many other advantages that basically make it worthwhile learning multiple languages.
What is your ideal vision for the future? Do you see a world where everyone will be this nice mesh, this weaving of different languages?
I think that already exists. That's the thing. I think there are certain contexts, Africa and Asia being an excellent example, where people actually are brought up with and speak multiple languages all the time. So I think what we need to do is also be realistic about what we do with languages. We don't need to learn all the languages. Which languages do I need for my particular context? I need the language of the country I'm living in. I need the languages I was brought up with. I need some international languages. Perhaps I'm interested in learning a couple more languages because I'm moving to a different country. So I think we need to look at what the needs are of an individual, and then allow that individual to develop those languages. But I still think that children should actually have access to multiple languages as they grow up.
Hey, Dr Nayr Ibrahim, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us here on France 24. Thank you very much.